Kia ora and welcome to the Amotai video series on procurement and the tendering process. I'm Sina, I'm a chartered engineer and I'm a procurement specialist with over 18 years experience in the construction industry. In this video you'll learn the further intermediate level details of putting together a compliant bid. Now these are important things to be aware of around commercial risk, the legal contract and tags. So let's get started and work through this information. One of the first things you should do once you've downloaded the tender documents is to find the legal contract or the contract agreement and have a read through the terms. Although there are some really good industry standard forms of contract out there, like NZS 3910, almost all clients will make some changes. They'll add some special conditions that you need to be aware of and you need to understand. If you can, you should get a lawyer and your insurer to have a review of the legal contract agreement. It's critical to understand what kind of risks you are taking on legally and whether you can insure your firm against them. Red flag areas in this space are often to do with limits of liability, indemnity and clauses around fitness for purpose, but there can be many others too, so it's always a good idea to get a legal opinion, especially if the contract is not one you're familiar with or if it contains amendments. It's really important to know that it's not the end of the world if you find issues with your contract. You just need to be alert to it in your bid, and we'll talk about that shortly in tags. Another aspect of commercial risk is around scoping the project and making sure that you have the resources to deliver and manage the mahi. This is where preparing methodology becomes very important. You need to ensure that when you're considering the work, you're also thinking about the admin. So think about monthly reporting, cash flow, and receipts, meetings, and what will happen if things don't go to plan. So i.e. contingency and plan Bs. Write these risks down and pay attention to the ones that you can't manage or control. We'll talk about these in tags again. In RFPs and RFTs, sometimes it's really important to write into your bid how you've scoped the project, how much time you've allowed for tasks, how those tasks relate to each other, and how you will resource them, so thinking people, plant, materials. This is essentially how you prepare your methodology section. Smart bids contain a risk management section where you write about how you're going to manage all the risks that you can foresee. Tags and exclusions. So it's really important that bids explain what limits there are on the offering. So tags like the terms and conditions or the fine print on your offering. These are conditions on your offer of service that help your client understand what's included in your offer and what is excluded. Things that are excluded are tagged out. Normally bids will have a section for tags, which they call clarifications or departures, and this is where you put your tags. Alternatively, you can also include them in your pricing schedule. Now, tags are one of the most important ways that suppliers can limit their risk exposure when putting in a bid. It helps everyone get a clearer understanding at the start of the project, and it helps you avoid arguments later on. Some items that are common to tag out in a bid are things like scope and assumptions. So if you've had to make assumptions to prepare your price, then it's really important to state what these assumptions are and how they affect your price. It's quite common to have uncertainty in the scope due to incomplete documents or incomplete design drawings, but it's really important to show what's included in the price and what isn't. For example, if a builder has priced a small construction job, assuming that no foundation works are required, then it's really important that he or she states in their proposal. If not, the client could argue that they should have allowed for it. Another thing commonly tagged out is time. So if the client or another party outside your control delays the works, this can cost you money. So it's common to tag out the cost of time delays by stating that the price offer is based on a certain contract period. It's also common to tag out client-supplied items. So if the client needs to provide items like information or inputs or materials that you need to complete the works, then this should be tagged out. Also commonly tagged out are design changes during construction. So builders and contractors should tag out design changes so that they will be compensated for extra time or delays that occur if things are changed during construction. One of the most common things professional services tag out is around legal conditions in the contract. So in this case, it's useful to explain what the problematic clauses are, if there are any, and what your proposed amendments to them are. Many bids also tag out unmanageable risk. So this is where you've identified risks that you can't reasonably be expected to manage. It's really useful to tag these out. And these days it's reasonable to tag out things like site shutdowns or additional health and safety measures due to government regulation, i.e. COVID. Most bids will have some tags. Clients do prefer tagless or clean bids. It makes their job much easier, and often they will request the tags be removed when they're going through evaluating tenders. If so, then that becomes a decision for you as the supplier to weigh up whether the risk is acceptable or not. However, it's always better to have the choice as a supplier and to be able to avoid the pain later on. Finally, alternative and non-conforming bids. So it's quite acceptable to present the client with a bid that's different to what they've asked for, provided that you've also supplied a conforming bid or a compliant bid. At first it seems like a bit of a strange idea, but sometimes suppliers can review the client's tender documents and they can come up with a better or more innovative idea to meet the client's needs in a different way. So for example, if a client is securing architecture design services for a new building, now say you're an architect as a supplier, provided you put in a conforming bid or a compliant bid, you may also decide to offer an alternative, innovative bid. Perhaps you partner with a different skill set or you partner with a funder to offer the same outcome for the client but in a different and better way. Another example might be where the client has issued an RFT based on some detailed design drawings and specifications. A contractor, an experienced contractor, may price what's been designed and specified, but may also provide an alternative bid that incorporates a different design approach that will meet the client's outcome, but offers cost savings or time savings. So with alternative bids, the two most important things to remember are that 1, only offer them when you already have a conforming bid as well, and 2, they need to demonstrate value in some way, such as cost savings or risk reduction to the client.